Hi everyone, and welcome to the computer room. I'm Gerald, and today we're going to be taking an unboxing and look at this, the Noctua NF-A12 15mm slim fan in black. This is not a sponsored video. This was not sent to me by the manufacturer. I purchased this with my own money, and I will leave an Amazon affiliate link in the description below so you can pick up your own. Now let's take a look. Okay, here we are at the desk with the Noctua NF-A12 15 PWM Chromax slim fan with swappable anti-vibration pads in 6 colors. There's red, blue, black, green, white, and yellow. So this is a 15mm slim fan with pulse width modulation. And the back of the package, some specifications indicate that 1850 is the maximum RPM, 1.53 millimeters of H2O is the static pressure rating, and the input power is 1.56 watts and 0.13 amps. 150,000 lifetime hours, 12 volts of course. Premium package for a premium product. Noctua always has good packaging. Even the embossing on the top here stands out. And let's open up the box and see what's inside. Here's the fan in a plastic surround. The wire through the hole in the back to the lead, which you can separate here, and the other package in the box, swappable anti-vibration pads. And there you go. There's yellow, white, green, black, blue, and red to suit your case and cosmetic preferences. I prefer black. They're just adhesive rubber. Line up carefully with the corner. And press down when it's lined up, and it should sit just slightly raised from the surface of the plastic and give you your rubber corner vibration dampening effects. And there's a look at the 15mm slim fan, Chromax in black. Sometimes hard to find. A lot of people prefer the black color. The directional arrows. Let's see if we can hook it up to some power and make it blow some air. Okay, so here we are. I have the fan connected to a power supply outside of a computer case, and I also have a little decibel measure meter app on my Android phone. If I'm quiet, we'll see how low the decibel meter reads. Pretty much 0, so we have a pretty quiet environment. Now I'll start the fan. And you can see with just the fan running, the decibel meter was in the high 20s, low 30s. according to the specifications on the back of the box, noise level is listed as being 23.9 decibels. This app on my phone, how accurate it is, I'm not sure. It's reading around 28. Decibels of noise on this fan. Now, connected to a power supply outside of the computer, I'm not using the pulse width modulation function at all, so this should be full speed of the fan. When I connect it to the 4-pin header on a motherboard, then I'll be able to control it in terms of its operating speed and RPM. I have a little wind meter here. If I hold it directly above the fan as it's blowing up, you can see that I'm getting 6.2 mile per hour of airspeed just coming off the fan. And when I stop the fan and it slows down, we'll see that yes, in fact, my decibel meter goes to pretty much zero. If we take our calipers and measure the width of the fan, it's 15.0 millimeters wide. Of course, it's a standard 120 millimeter fan width, both sides, of course, being square. And the screw holes are your standard 105 millimeters apart, center to center. There it is. Also included in the box was a bag of 4 of your standard case mounting fan screws. Now let's see if we can attach it to a radiator and see what difference that makes for airflow. Okay, so here we are back again. I have attached the fan to a Alpha Cool 120 millimeter radiator, which is 25 millimeters thick, and I have attached it in a push configuration, and we'll see what difference that makes in terms of how much airflow is getting through a thin 25 millimeter wide 120 millimeter radiator, as well as what the decibel reading might be. I'll turn the fan on now. With the fan on the radiator, we're definitely getting a higher decibel reading, in the 40s instead of high 20s or low 30s like before. And I'll take my little wind meter and put it under the radiator as it's blowing down through the radiator, and we are getting just over 3 miles an hour, 3.2 miles an hour of airspeed blowing through the radiator from this fan that on its own was blowing a little over 6, about 6.2. So let's taking about 3 mile an hour of airspeed off it just to push air through this 25 millimeter wide, 120 millimeter radiator. Now I'll set one up in a push-pull configuration and see what that does. Okay, so I now have a second identical Noctua slim fan connected to this slim 25 millimeter wide Alpha Cool radiator, this 120 millimeter radiator, in a push-pull configuration. With this radiator and one slim fan, of course you have 25 plus 15, which is a 40 millimeter width, with two fans in a push-pull configuration. The two fans plus the radiator, 56 millimeters. That's all the space you need, and you have a good push-pull configuration. Let's see what that does for decibel readings as well as airspeed. I'll start the fans now. As I carefully pick up the fan by the radiator, you can see that the fans are spinning on both sides, this push-pull configuration. The decibel reading on my Android phone's app right now, where it's sitting, has seemed to come down again to somewhere in the 30s. Low to mid 30s. Okay, both these fans should be spinning it at full RPM, being that they're just connected directly to a power supply outside of a computer case. And if I hold my wind meter against the, see if I can do this so you can see it. Four and a half. There we get 5.2 mile an hour of airspeed coming out of the external side of the push-pull configuration, and going into the intake side of the push-pull configuration. I don't know if you can see that. It's 2.5, 2.6, 2.7. It's climbing. Trying to hold it steady. 3.3 mile an hour of air intake being registered on the pull side of the radiator. Sorry, that would be the push side. This side would be pushing in. Three mile an hour, just over 3.2 mile an hour on the push side of the radiator going in, and on the pull side of the radiator coming out, of course with less restriction from the fan right in front of it where I'm taking this reading. 5.3 mile an hour of air exiting in a push-pull configuration. Now that would be a pretty nice setup for a small form factor computer case, to have a nice push-pull configuration. in such a compact size. Okay, so there you have it, the handy, powerful, compact, slim 15mm computer fan from Noctua in a desirable black. Link in the description of where you can get your own. This would be great for any computer, small form factor or not. Just the performance and the space saving makes it a desirable fan. And the color, can't go wrong with black. See you next time.
Seconds, decision.